Hello Stampers, this is super awesome stamper Shirley Merker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wisconsin, USA. Welcome to day 4 of our 12 days of creativity for November 2025. You may be watching me live within our global SU Sharefair group, or you may be catching the replay on my YouTube channel for the super awesome stamper Shirley Merker. Either way, thanks for being here, and I am going to take a moment here to make sure I am going live in the right Facebook group. So if anybody's watching, please add a comment or give me a shout out. Oh, here we go. I see myself, and yeah. So if anybody's watching, oh, I see. There's that a little better for a filming angle. Yeah. All right, so this is the sample that I'm doing today. It features the Jar of Joy stamp set, which is right here, and the coordinating punch. Now, these are online exclusives. There is an additional jar stamp set, which I don't have right in front of me. I may go get that at the end of the video. But yeah, I love punches. I love easy punches. I love jar things. So gotta make a sample with this bundle. All right, so sending a jar full of cheer. Now I haven't stamped the inside because I'm not gonna put white in there. You've got 2 sides to write a message, but the stamp set does have this, wishing you the sweetest Christmas ever. So let's see how it stamps. You know what? I think I've used a stamp before. Yeah, I have. Sometimes the first time you use it, if you don't clean it, it doesn't give a good transfer of ink. So wishing you the sweetest Christmas is going to go on the inside. Now I looked in here. I didn't see any kind of smaller coordinating images to go with our gingerbread. I could stamp some baubles, but yeah, we're just going to leave it like that. Okay, so that's the sample card. Let's pull in our supplies and go ahead and stamp the inside. This is basic beige for my card base. And then we need to stamp our jar. So I have a little trick that I'm going to test live with you. I got my paper piercing mat underneath here because it gives you a little extra cushion to get a good transfer of the ink from the stamp to the paper. Now, this punch has got the jar and the jar topper, which is kind of hard to punch. Well, you can punch just a jar and jar already stamped and then the topper, but then you gotta eyeball that topper. And I found it's been hit or miss whether I can get the topper stamped correctly. So let's try this way. Where is my topper stamp? So this was the first punch that I did for the card, and let's put Cajun Craze as my ink pad. So I cut it out and noted it down, and let's see if, I bet you it would work better if we had a different mask. Yeah, that was too far over. Well, let's try this. It's hard for me to differentiate between the mask and the actual paper I want to stamp on. Well, that one worked good, but not the topper. So a topper, we're going to have to do something else. So the theory is good. Maybe make a different color mask, and you'll be able to differentiate between where you need to place that stamp. So you see, my topper is not inked perfectly. That's what I was trying to do. Didn't work. So let's just flip it over and see if I can stamp. Oh, that's not like the way I like it either. So here's where if you had strips of paper come in handy, but I like to have a perfect stamp, so we're gonna do one over here. and one right through there. See? Now I've got a jar I've got to stamp, but the jar actually I found is a lot easier to line up. Let's just do that. Cajun Craze ink. Ink for the outline. See, it's easier for me to line up because there's a differentiation between the basic beige cardstock and the darker matte. So that would be the ticket. Make a mask that's darker than your actual base, or just a different color would work. Okay, so this is the one I need. One of those. Put this over there. And bring my sample card in. And all of the measurements with the supply list will be included in that emailed PDF. Ask the demonstrator that invited you to this group for this PDF. Be warned, we may not be able to share it to the end of our 12 days because we are all working overtime to get you the projects. And if you know me, I like to work ahead, and I haven't worked ahead for this event. I actually just created this card moments before I demonstrated it. A little bit behind. Fall activities gonna take precedence sometime. Okay, now let's see, Cajun Craze ink pad again, and we've got our photopolymer stamp, so you can put it wherever you want. I'm not gonna move it because I want it at this angle. And I want to make sure I don't stamp where I'm going to have the jar. So there. Okay, so since it's photopolymer, like I said, you can put it every which way, any which way you want. And actually, it's a long one. So you could do something like this. You know, exaggerated curves. I'm trying to do that without getting Cajun Craze ink on my fingers. Something like this would be fun too. Like that. So those photopolymer sentiments you can bend to wherever you'd like them. All right, we need to get our gingerbread in there. Let's pull back my paper piercing mat and bring out the crumb cake ink pad. And this is the fuller coverage stamp. There's two different, fuller coverage and then the outlines. So crumb cake ink pad. And then the details. So there's a bow, his bow right there. His or her bow. And line it up. Hopefully I'll do this. I'm just looking at the bow and the buttons for this. So it gives a nice kind of outline detail. Okay. And all we need to do is assemble. All right, all the measurements will be in your email PDF. So Cajun Craze layer there, and then the DSP is from Woven Textures pack. Designer Series paper. It's an online exclusive as well. You get some of these fun other patterns with it. It's if you like texture and textured neutrals, this is the paper pack for you. Look at all those fun patterns. I love textured neutrals, so I've had a good time using them. All right, so we're gonna run some tape runner on the edge here. Grab my ribbon. Basic beige, classic ribbon, 3/8 inch, 1 centimeter wide. And I want it just to add a little bit of texture on this card. I looked through all my embellishments, and oh, you know what? One I didn't pull is the matte dots. Gosh, I think they might be in the drawer right next to me. I'll have to pull those out. I think those are an online exclusive too. I don't think they're in the catalog. Tear and tape to secure the ends of that ribbon down. I tried the white foam stars that came in the package of the white, the purple, and the black, and I didn't like the white contrast. I liked the basic beige for the neutral on this card. Okay, and then we are going to pop the jar up. A couple of dimensionals. I cut, yeah, right there. I cut the end, and that will fit perfectly on the topper. Ooh, I guess I'm doing 3. Sometimes the backer sheets come off, and then I just use that dimensional because I saved it before and I had to use it, and it's stuck with lint and stuck in other paper, and that's not good. All right, jar's gonna be there. And toppers goes on top. And then we're gonna do a faux bow. So for the bow challenged out there, making a knot and cutting ends off works just great. And then of course you gotta fluff it. Okay, so there, there. Oh, this one on the right is a little bit longer than I like. They're not perfect. They're not perfect on both sides. The same length. There. Okay, and then I said I was gonna look for those neutral matte dots. Let's see here. Oh, I had some. Let's see. Talk amongst yourselves. Where are they? They were not in my embellishment basket. Oh, here we go. Neutral matte dots. Online exclusive. I hope they're still available. I used them for my kits in the mail last month, so that's why they were over there. Not in my embellishment tub. So now, see, we got this beige one and this, well, this darker tan one, and this one looks like a basic beige, and that's white. 2 together. So look at this. Where do we want to put them? Some up here, some down here for contrast. Up here on the ribbon, down here. Where do we want them? You can put one on the knob of the jar. One there. Nope, that's out of proportion with the gingerbread. How about one there? One there. Oops. One there. 3 of them? You like that or not? Decisions. So we need a triangle of 3 here. Let's just do that. I didn't like the 3 along there. Let's try something else there. I wonder if these big ones, the larger size, is a little too overwhelming for our gingerbread jar. And if we do 3 along the words, it'll accent the words. 3 of the small ones. How about that? 2 different varieties. Which one do you like better? All right, I like that it breaks up the Cajun Craze color. It adds a little bit of color in an empty dark spot. Not sure I like the 3 there. Sometimes you can move the embellishments, sometimes not. let's do that. Okay, so sample card and the one I created for you for the day 4 of our 12 days of creativity for November 2025. All 12 videos are featured in our Global SU Share Fair private Facebook group. Customers of ours will also receive the emailed PDF tutorial. Just ask your demonstrator for the tutorial. She will share it with you towards the end of the 12 days or when we get that PDF assembled. So hopefully by day 13, November 13th, we will get it to you so you can start creating cards based on our designs. All right, so make sure you stay tuned for the rest of the 12 days videos, and we'll stamp with you soon. Bye.